And hey, listen, despite anything I say, I know that 2 out of 3 people will just click to the end, take a print screen, and overreact on Twitter. But hey, do you know what else 2 out of 3 guys will experience by the time they're 35? Male pattern baldness. That's where today's sponsor, Keeps, comes in. The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something while you still have hair left. When it's gone, it's a lot harder to get back. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss prevention products out there. And you might have tried them before, but never at this price. Before, you used to have to go to the doctors to get your hair prescription. But now, thanks to Keeps, you can just meet a doctor online and they'll send it right to your home. Send it once every 3 months, and yeah, you can just get your hair medication like that. And especially during these times, it's very nice to not have to go to the pharmacy or the doctor's office and stand in line when everyone's sick. I've been lucky enough to, at least not yet, suffer from early male pattern baldness, but I know a lot of other people that have, and I think it sucks that some people can't look at themselves in the mirror and feel confident because they're losing some hair. So yeah, if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/Leffen or click the link in the video description to get 50% of your first order. That's keeps.com/Leffen. Thank you, Keeps, for sponsoring this video. Hi, YouTube. So it's a new patch, a patch that many people consider the best patch yet for Ultimate, 11.0, with a lot of nerfs to top tiers, which is going to change the tier list completely. But something that's been on my mind for a long time is that, well, Ultimate Online sucks. I know that's not revolutionary, but it really does suck. To the point where it's a completely different game. And I thought that for this tier list, it's the first one I'm doing in a while, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm still going to rank basically every character, but because me or anyone else have not actually played the real game of Ultimate offline competitively for a very, very long time. And if you have, you're kind of breaking quarantine unless you live in like Australia or where that's not a thing. So on today's video, we're going to look through a lot of different tier lists from various pros from different regions. We're going to look through the patch notes for the last 5 patches that have all occurred while quarantine was still active. So none of these changes have actually seen any offline effect. So we can't really know if maybe a character that was buffed back in 7.0, which I believe was 8 months ago or a year ago, maybe the character is going to break out once offline tournaments come back, and we just don't know. So I thought it'd be really interesting to try to focus in really hard on the characters that have changed, and maybe also a couple characters like Diddy Kong who have gotten meta changes due to some people exploring them more. And obviously we're going to rank Sephiroth, we're going to rank Mithra, both new characters, both really great characters. First off, I guess we'll show some baseline, right? We got a couple different tier lists here. This is Tweak's tier list from November. I believe this is patch 9.0. Joker, Pikachu, Palu, Wolf, Sonic. Maybe this is an online tier list. Maybe this isn't. We don't really know. But a lot of these characters have gotten nerfed at some point. I believe Joker was actually nerfed twice now since offline tournaments have really been a thing. And Leo doesn't even play Joker online. So it's going to be really interesting. ESEM's recent tier list from December 2020, 1 patch ago. We have Raito's tier list from November. But before we try to apply any of this, we're going to basically make my own tier list, which is very simple. It's going to be nerfed, heavily nerfed, buffed, heavily buffed, or like about the same, right? And I think that's what we're going to go for. So to start off with, the new characters. Let me find Pyra. Let me find Sephiroth. Min Min, who was actually nerfed in the most recent patch. But again, we don't really know how much. Steve is Enderman. Byleth. I guess we haven't really seen offline Byleth. Damn, that's crazy. Byleth feels like so long ago. Although technically you could have entered offline tournaments with Byleth, but yeah. I think that's all. Let's try to rank these in order in terms of strength. So I think that the worst character is Byleth or Steve. They're fine, right? Steve has minecart, super obnoxious move. Byleth is still kind of a sword character, is just one of the worst ones. Even Leia, who does well with Byleth, himself says that Byleth is simply not good. Even after the buffs, Byleth did recently get heavily buffed. Not actually that big of a deal. Doesn't really change his core problems that he's slow, or they are slow, and mediocre recovery. Not bad, because crazy snap range, but still not amazing, and just like very one note in terms of characters. Once you realize you can punish the Nair, it becomes massively harder for them to actually get anything longer than a one-hit string to hit, and obviously they're bad at coming down. many general sword character flaws. I still think overall, I think Steve gets a bit overrated because people kind of suck against low mobility characters offline. But I think that offline, Steve is probably going to be one of the weaker ones, but very, very annoying in some super, super strong moves. Honestly, I think we'll see Steve do more on a like major level, more upsets, simply because like if you're that good, why not just pick a better sword character if you want to play Byleth? But I still think that, you know, they're pretty close, but they're on the lower-ish side to the point where like they're somewhere in the middle. You know, in Ultimate, it's a very balanced game. It's really, really hard to know if someone's low high, high mid, mid low, high low. It's just extremely hard. But in general, these two other characters we'll see less competitively. And then for these, it's going to be really hard to know exactly who's the best. I think Min Min is in this tier where like a lot of people hate Min Min, especially people in Japan apparently seem to really hate her. That's what I've heard. But it's more of a case that she's super degenerate and just stands across the stage and pew, 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 just shoots you. But Min Min did get some nerfs as well. So I think in general, Min Min is more of a case of extremely polarizing, maybe extremely awful to play against, and especially in some matchups, but probably not like tournament winning character for the most part. Next up, we have Sephiroth, who I think is clearly in the high or top tier. Very fragile in terms of weight, but everything else is basically top tier. However, Sephiroth very, very bad online. Basically can't ledge trap, can't do anything. A lot of his strengths, the fact that he has like super long range moves, doesn't really matter when you can't space properly online. So yeah, it's really, really, really hard to say exactly how good Sephiroth is, simply because his character archetype does not work whatsoever online. However, we have seen for most people that they do think he's very strong. Dark Angel is a very good mechanic for him. I don't love combat mechanics, but it is a little bit less annoying to deal with than Arsene because you're not basically incentivized to camp him out forever, and he can't take several stocks with it. Unless I guess he can actually if he's down 2 stocks, I believe. But yeah, at that point you're down 2 stocks, which is not the biggest deal. But yeah, I think he's definitely high or top tier. I can't see him being mid-tier whatsoever. We're absolutely going to see some Sephiroths make some waves. I know Tweak's playing Sephiroth a lot, although I think he feels like he wants a different character. That's why he's also picked up Diddy. But yeah, next up we have Pyra / Mithra. So if I were to rank these characters individually, Pyra would be contender for like the worst character in the game. Do I think she's worse than Isabel or like Lil Mac? Who's to say? It doesn't really matter. My point is that her power level, if you're forced to stay with Pyra in an offline environment, not online, she's very strong online, I think she's one of the worst in the game. That said, together, because of how she's only really required to play when you actually aren't really suffering from her slow mobility, her laggy moves, and her lack of combos, relative lack of combos. She does have like three different combos basically. She's a super, super useful tool. It's in the same vein as, you know, trying to rank Charizard. You're never really going to play Charizard only. But if you did play Charizard only, he'd be one of the worst. And that's kind of how I feel like Pyra is. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with this, saying, Leffen, I play Elite Smash. Pyra's really annoying in Elite Smash. It's like, yeah, duh. But like basically everyone that's actually been able to play even short offline sessions or play Yusu basically say that the trajectory for Pyra's strength goes like this, and the trajectory for Mithra's strength offline goes like this. And I guess that brings us to Mithra. I personally think Mithra and Pyra are going to be super, super strong offline. The main thing is that online, it's very hard to use them both perfectly. But even then, you saw MK Leo bring them out at the online tournament. And I think 3-1ing Meister with 2-3 stocks, I believe. And then 3-0ing Spargo as well. So, you know, definitely very, very scary already. And that's crazy considering they are also super unoptimized. Like, they're difficult characters to play together because you have to play 2 characters. You have to swap between them. They have different, you know, move properties for all of them. Mithra especially is just one of the fastest characters with a lot of like tight links, frame traps, character specific combos, stuff like that. So I think it's going to take a while before they get optimized. But the fact that a character like that is already doing really well is a very, very good sign if you're interested in playing those characters. And I know I am. They're definitely the character that when going forward, when I play Ultimate, definitely the character I'm looking forward to using the most. That's all the new characters. If we had to place them on a tier list, I would rank I would probably put it like this if this were a traditional tier list. Effectively, maybe Steve is up here simply because playing against Steve is so awkward, and I feel like abusing his like slow mobility and stuff like that. You can do it if you play along like first to 10, but like doing it in a best of 3, best of 5 tournaments, that's probably going to be hard. So effectively, I feel like Steve's probably going to be here, but you know, it's about the same, really. Yeah, I would probably put Sephiroth towards the lower end of top tier, maybe like 10, 11, 9th in the game, whereas I feel like Mithra and Pyra together are absolutely contenders for the best character in the game, with many good matchups against even top tier characters. Once I played these characters offline, and I really felt like, damn, I don't actually feel like I struggle much against like top tiers, right? That's when I knew like, okay, all right. And then there's so much extra to do with like foresight and everything. We'll bunch them up for now, but we can add them to the list later. And let's just kind of go through the tier list. I mean, the patch notes. Okay, so let's not do the Byleth update because I feel like we actually did get a little bit of offline practice. So let's simplify it a little bit, try to keep this video to a reasonable length. Let's do 8.0. June 2020, everyone should have been quarantining. If you weren't, well, I hope you're Australian, mate. Right, this is the Min patch. Added small battlefield. Dude, just the thing that we have not seen competitive Smash with either small battlefield or Sephiroth stage that actually buffs characters that want smaller stages, both of them, is kind of crazy, right? Like, I think it's such a massive shame that we have not gotten to see those two stages be actually used in competitive play. And honestly, just like the thing that you can play any song is going to be nice for tournaments too. But yeah, let's look at the patch notes and look at overall impressions. Let me prep buffed. So we'll put them in here if they get patched, buffed 1 patch. Big buffs, the same. Nerfed and big nerfs, aka Wario, Palutena. Dude, I'm already telling you now, this is gonna be the clickbait tier. If you got here from a thumbnail, putting these characters at the last, yeah, I mean they are in the bottom tier for this tier list. So Kirby got buffed, Falcon got buffed, they buffed his up smash. Honestly, one of the craziest changes that they would buff Falcon, his up smash of all the things, and I think side B as well. Definitely think Falcon's one of the characters that's going to be doing better offline rather than online, due to him not really having any projectiles and stuff like that. Okay, we can already put Falcon in big buffs, because these buffs were big, and then he also gets buffed in the most recent patch as well. Final smash, doesn't matter. Sheik got buffs, F smash is a little bit better. It's kind of crazy. Like, there's so many characters like this. Like, originally you would think like, okay, well, she got buffed, but you don't never really see that character online anyway. So like, literally no one has ever noticed. Falco got buffed, Marth got buffed, Mewtwo got buffed. So many of these characters you literally never see online. I mean, Falco you kind of see, but like some of the smaller changes are not really gonna make anyone change. Meta Knight, same thing. We had a pit main over, someone swapped a pit. He got buffs, right? But generally, I'm not going to put people in the big buffs unless I think they made it to like a competitively viable tier. Sheik is in the border here, but her buffs were so small that I'll just put her here for now. Pit got heavily buffed, but I mean, he's Pit. Who cares? He's not terrible because there's no real terrible characters in this game, but he's also doesn't really have anything threatening. He doesn't have like, oh my god, I can abuse this thing on Pit. It's more like, well, what are you enforcing on me? Like, what are you actually making me scared of? And yeah. Right, I got some changes, but he's the same. Small nerfs, small buffs, centered lesser on neutral air. Diddy Kong got buffed, and Diddy Kong is a character that I'm already going to be putting in big buffs, because here's the thing. Yes, were Diddy Kong's buffs massive even in this patch? Like, you know, they're pretty significant. Like, dash attack's better, bigger range, easier to combo, F still stronger, down smash is faster, S smash is bigger range. And then some bug fixes with down special. Not the biggest changes overall, but the meta that has been pushed by Tweak and many other Diddy players, I think is going to really show off. A lot of people starting out, they just saw Diddy Kong as the character that was in Smash 4, and because you couldn't play Diddy Kong like you could in Smash 4, now everyone thought Diddy Kong is useless. But I really don't think that's the case. And I think people are definitely seeing it. Tweak did even win an online tournament, although that is just an online tournament with Diddy. D3, I mean, yeah, D3 got some small buffs late this last patch too. Unless we see more buffs, we can put him there. Again, D3 is like top tier as shit online, but kind of meh offline. Villager got buffs, but probably not super competitively relevant. Although Villager is a little bit underrated. Oh yeah, Wii Fit. Wii Fit keeps getting buffs. Wii Fit is actually a very scary character. They actually got a shadow buff in the last patch, making side B have 5 less and leg frames. That's the football header. Lil Mac, who cares? Corin got buffed, but yeah, Corin is one of the worst sword characters by far. I believe Cosmos even came out and said, like, I can't believe I actually thought Corin was high tier at some point. I was an idiot, basically. Oh yeah, Bayo got buffed. Screw this character. This character's awful to play against. Good Bayo players, like I play against a good Bayo player here, and oh my god, it's awful. It's either you destroy them or they get their 0 to death combos and you die. Ban Yoshi's against Bayo is all I'm gonna say. King K. Rool got buffed, but again, like none of these characters I really foresee going up much in tier. If we're talking competitively relevant characters, like Sheik is almost relevant, depending on if Void chooses to nerf himself and play Sheik instead of Mithra. Meta Knight's not relevant. Bayo's not really relevant. Any of these characters could make some upsets, but are they going to be consistent top 8 placers? Probably not. Isabel, yeah, it's like Incineroar, Piranha Plant. Like, this is the patch of just like, these are just irrelevant characters that got slightly better, but you're never really going to notice the changes massively unless they like change the entire toolkit in a patch. They're definitely able to make some upsets, but again, they're not like characters that you really pick to consistently win majors with. But yeah, we'll have to see. I could be wrong on some of these, of course. 8.1 was just the bug fix and the online patch. 9.0. Now this is the Steve patch. Donkey Kong, side special. Wow, okay, yeah, no one's hitting that anyway. The same. Why did Ness get buffed? I forgot about why did Pikachu get buffed? Dude. Why did Ness and Pikachu get buffed? Imagine having a full year of online and then getting Pikachu and Ness buffed. Especially Ness in an online year. That's what you say. This is during the time when people were like, oh my god, hashtag fix Ultimate Online. This is what Sakurai meant for you. When he buffed Ness players, he was saying, fuck you, I don't give a shit. I'm buffing Ness. So I'm actually going to put both of these characters here. Now, Ness, already a high tier character, I would say. Any buffs and like increased power, increased speed, any buffs are honestly going to matter a lot. Downer is faster. I don't know any Ness main, so maybe I'm wrong about this. You can comment in the comment section if you think these buffs weren't big. But basically what I'm trying to do with this list is that if Pikachu or Ness or like Joker gets buffs, now those buffs are huge, even if the buffs themselves are not as big as a buff King K. Rool got, because it moves them more competitively than, and it changes them more than a character that, you know, isn't going to be played anyway. Now Pikachu got this buff, which is just a fix, but the big buff really for Pikachu is that every other top tier gets nerfed but Pikachu for some reason. And yeah, that's a huge buff. All of your even matchups now become winning instead. That's still a huge, massive buff, even if it's like not actually a direct buff to your character for the most part. Ice Climbers, blah, 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 slight buffs. Charizard, oh yeah. They fixed Charizard's side special and up B special to make them hit more consistently. And yet I heard they're worse now at hitting consistently. Yeah. This is like the multi-hit patch, but they didn't really fix any multi-hit patches. Chuck, it's the same. It really shows you just like how little ultimate meta develops online, because you don't even play these characters online. Like there's only like a couple Rob and Ness players that, and like Game Watch players that even bother to try online, and of course Sonic players. But it's gonna be really interesting when everything comes back. There you go. The same. Bowser Jr. got buffed. No one cares. Still not gonna be competitively relevant. You got big buffs too, I think. Ridley got buffed, not relevant. Simon got buffed, not relevant. Buffed still. There's a lot of buffs here, right? But the buffs, for the most part, I don't feel like are happening to the characters that really matter. Outside of these characters, I wouldn't really say there's any character that I've been like, wow, this character really got taken to the next level with this one change. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Could very well be, but I think that for the most part, we're going to see is that the characters from here that start really improving are not really going to be doing so because of the patch alone, It's gonna be if a Bayo or a Sheik main can really find like the tech and really just optimize, push their meta of the character to the next level. Maybe they give these characters a chance because of the buffs, but I don't think the buffs themselves are ever really gonna transform the characters and take them to the next level. Right, so now in 10.0 we got the other new stage, Northern Cave, dope stage, except it gives me motion sickness and I can't see anything, so I honestly don't want to play on it. That's something for for every flaw with every stage video. Oh yeah, Fox got buffed. Now, Fox is probably on the border. His buffs were not that big, but I hear he got a bigger confirm, so I'm going to put it in here because Fox is competitively relevant, whether you like it or not. There's top Fox players in both America and Japan, and even slight buffs to this is going to matter. Funny thing is, this is another case of like, they literally don't exist online, but we're going to be able to see them once offline comes back. Same, fixing. Pichu's F smash got bigger range. Like, why would they only do this? I guess this is probably to make it drop less, increase the final attack's range. Oh, I heard. So, Yunk Link. I heard they buffed this to make it hit more consistently, but now you can consistently escape it by smash GIing up. So that was actually a nerf to Young Link, but I guess we'll still put him in the same because overall, I don't think it's gonna be the most massive deal. Although I could be wrong about that, and he did also get some buffs before that. Dude, there's so many characters here. I literally can't find it. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank God. We'll put him in nerf then. Chat keeps telling me that he did actually get nerfs. Oh yeah, I heard this is another thing. Yeah, didn't. Bug fixes, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, when were the Joker changes? There were 2 Joker nerfs. Was that 7.0? Oh my God, I forgot about them buffing Shotos too. Dude, there's so many changes. We'll be here all day. Yeah, they nerfed Joker here, making Arsene go away faster and making down guns worse. So if we include that, honestly, I don't see how you don't include Joker in the big nerfs category. Down guns got worse. You have Arsene for significantly shorter. And now in the latest patch, counter easier to punish by 4 frames. And they made side B 4 frames laggier. I think the side B change is the real big one. I actually don't know if it applies to both Arsene-less Joker and regular Joker, but I know it applies to regular Joker. And if it applies to both, it's a huge nerf, honestly, because it's the move you spam when you're in Arsene mode. Yeah, side special. Yeah, I think this is just period. Or maybe it's called Aegon? I don't know. Well, either way, I think it's fair to put them in the big nerfs category, although not as big of a nerf. Now, when were the Palu nerfs? Right, so Palu in 7.0 also got nerfed here, right? Increased power of the last attack for up tilt, but like no one fucking uses up tilt, so it doesn't matter for the most part. But they made Nair worse, and they made down throw not kill confirm nearly as much. And then you get the 10.0 changes. I mean 11.0, where dash attack is more laggy, fair is now parry punishable, and it's 2 frames more lag, and grab range is less. So I feel like it's definitely safe to say that Palu got big nerfs. And CSS nerfs, honestly, not really nerfed at all. Kind of. So up special is like, what, like 2 frames slower, and like Nair is 2 frames laggier, but you're generally not punishing those anyway. And there's a lot of other things you can do too. I really think that like the nerfs they did earlier when they made down B like bury less are actually more impactful than these. CSS plays completely the same. She didn't really get nerfed in her core moves. Nair is laggier, but they didn't really put it over the edge like to where it's actually punishable in Shield. You know, it's going to be punishable maybe now and then, but even then you could use Zaire or up air to make it safe anyway on Shield. Whereas other characters like Palu, Joker, and especially, sorry Warrior mains, but not sorry, you deserve it. You're awful. I hate Warrior mains, if you couldn't tell. I actually don't hate Warrior mains. Gloony's cool, but Warrior's an awful character to play against. I think we can all agree on that. Warrior did not get big nerfs in terms of the list. There's 2 nerfs here. Up tilt has less active frames, and down special is slower. So waft is slower for both mid waft and max waft. But these changes actually change a lot in how Warrior plays and how you play against him. Knowing that he only has like 2 or maybe 3 ways to land waft instead of 5, and maybe, you know, depending on the character, you maybe have even more. Honestly, massive. And I think it's definitely going to be something that maybe puts him down a tier, because as you could see, he was already on the very edge of the list here. And maybe for him, CSS also on the edge of the list actually jumps down a full tier. But looking at this list, right, and many others like it, let's look at Esim's list. I feel like a lot of these characters, you know, Wario, CSS, Palu, Joker, they all got big nerfs. I would say that CSS got off the easiest, and Wario or Palu got nerfed the hardest. But they're all going to be at least high tier. Probably most of them still going to be top tier. Maybe like a spot or two lower. But safe to say that they're not going anywhere competitively unless those people that made those characters, like Tweak maining Wario, now swap into Sephiroth, now swap into Diddy. Maybe Joker mains like Layout will start playing Mithra. That's where you're actually going to see them disappear. Not necessarily out of those characters simply not being able to do it anymore, but more of a like they're not as fun for me to play now that they're nerfed, and now I'm going to swap to someone else that maybe I think is a bit stronger and I have more fun with, whatever. But yeah, I actually think I'm not going to do a full image tier list. So everyone that's skipped here at the end, you can just take Esim's tier list and post it to Reddit. Do it. And then you can just edit and move the characters in big nerfs slightly down. You can look at any tier list here you want, and you can kind of see like if you think these are on the way down, you can go down. You can take a look at this tier list, big buffs. Let's look at Falcon, Diddy, and Wii Fit. So where's Falcon in this tier list? He's in C. Maybe he even jumps up to A, low A. Jumps up to B if you try to write those tier list. If you're more into Tweak's tier list, maybe he jumps up to A because he got big buffs. Although this was after some of the buffs. So yeah, basically, I don't really know because there's so many buffs. Look at how many characters have been buffed, and look at how many characters got big buffs. And then there's equally many new characters, and then there's big nerfs as well. Honestly, this nerf tier, surprisingly, like I feel like almost no one got slightly nerfed. I feel like everyone here, they got nerfed, almost got nerfed twice, or they got big nerfs to begin with. Actually, we could probably change CSS to nerfed just to Younglies in there alone. But yeah, I think that's about the gist of it. I would say that if I had to implant this, let's just take yoink this tier list. We could put this one close to the top tier. I don't know. We move Palu further back. Bam. Perfect. And then we put Sephiroth in. Wii Fit is like an entire tier higher. Scuffed tier list. Hey man, when a Sakura releases a good online, I'll release a good tier list. How about that? How about that? Why is this not selecting? Okay, you know what? Make your own tier list, chat room. The tier list is all in your mind. The real tier list was the tier list we made along the way. And we'll have to simply wait a bit more to really see a super accurate one. If you have to go refer to someone, I would say, I think Void has a recent one that he speedran, but honestly, I think most people are just kind of waiting to see it until offline results. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video still. This is kind of just me rambling. Let me know if you like this type of content where I'm just rambling that you could put on the background. If not, I guess I won't do them anymore. Bye. Like the video, comment for the algorithm. And that's it.